Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
All right, Overdrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Brian Hayes, Doug, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles, McLennan. Best bets coming up later in the hour on Jays Yankees tonight. What an hour we just had, and there's still so much more to break down. But if you're just tuning in, Mitch Marner, a sign-and trade with Vegas. So he signs an 8-year deal with the Leafs, traded to Vegas for Nicholas Waugh coming back. Nicholas Waugh was on that cup-winning team a few years ago. 6'4", 200.
Crazy, man. It's crazy to announce that, Hayes. Like, it just seemed like, I don't know, it seems like we're all getting old. Like, it doesn't seem like that long ago this kid was coming up and he was going to be the Toronto kid, the superstar, and it was going to last forever.
Well, yeah, you're right, man. You're right. Like, the exit of Marner, like, he's been in the organization for a decade. They drafted him 4th overall in the McDavid draft, right? Yeah. Every Leaf fan was hoping they'd win the lottery like every other team.
Like, how are you kind of racking this up with like a Vince Carter exit and different players? Like, where does it resonate for you as far as exits of kind of star players and golden boys in the city?
I can't think of a more polarizing, superstar in the city in recent years, and I can't think of a more, kind of vitriolic exit for a superstar in my lifetime. I mean,
by the fans?
Yeah,
or by the player,
I guess, Vince is different. I should say Maple Leaf, because Carter was different, and Carter was pulling on the, I always talk about it, the sensitive kind of self-esteem issues that Raptor fans had, that players didn't want to be here, and Vince was going to be different, and then he just kind of ripped the rug from underneath them, and he quit on the team, and he demanded out. Marner didn't demand out. Right, so you got to keep that in perspective. He didn't demand out. He wanted out, clearly. Clearly, he wanted out, and that's why I keep driving at. I'd love to know when he made up this decision. It would appear to me it was last summer. He decided, I'm out of here, and maybe it was going to Vegas, and he knew it was going to be available to him. But he didn't demand out like Vince. He didn't quit on them, right? Like Vince quit. Like he didn't quit. Martin didn't play well in the biggest games, but neither did other players on his team. So I don't think you can just hold that against him. But what was always different about Mitch was he was a local guy. It was supposed to be different. The fact that he's the first guy of the core 4 leaving, that's probably what's most shocking to me. Is that
he's the first?
Yeah, like he's the local guy. And maybe we should have seen it the whole time because of the way his first contract went down, the rumors of, how him and Babcock, Lou Lamoriello not giving him the same bonuses that they gave Matthews, which was a real point of contention by all accounts within the Marner camp. So maybe there had been a kind of a crumb trail laid out for the last 9 years that this was inevitable. But I do think Vince was unanimously hated. Like, there wasn't anyone that supported Vince Carter. There are people that wanted Mitch to return, that still, I think, were in the Mitch Marner corner of things, if you're a Leaf fan. But I would say if it was 50-50, 2 or 3 months ago, it's probably 75-25. 75 being loud and really not happy with him, and more than happy that he's gone. And now thinking, this guy, what's going to keep coming up? Jammed you on getting Mikko Rantanen. Could have had him, but Mitch said no.
Yeah. Right? The one thing about this guy that I've never understood, and it was part, and I'm not trying to kick his rear end on the way out the door. He was a fantastic player. He was paid a lot. It was appropriately paid. But I never understood his PR with the way he just... It seemed like he always had this thing where he was kind of getting screwed somehow, and I never really understood that.
He just
people were, I don't know, people were always all over him, or he was getting the short end of the stick, or I don't know. I could never figure that, and maybe I read that wrong, or I was like, you're one of the best players on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Everybody loves watching you play on the ice. How you're getting paid an enormous amount of money, I just never understood the idea of him getting screwed, or like he was being screwed somehow.
I just don't think he was very comfortable in front of the microphone. I don't think he was comfortable. He's not a guy that, by all accounts, behind the scenes, very funny guy, very outgoing, quick-witted, in the dressing room, all of that. In front of a microphone, it just seemed like he was not comfortable in his own skin, talking about his game, talking about the Leafs. He seemed to have this this force field around him, this guard up, regardless. You could ask him how, behind the scenes, how you doing, and chat it up. In front of a camera, how are you doing? It was very
tense
short.
and tight.
It was tense. That's the word.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe he just goes to a new market where, like I say, you just every day, maybe there's some media there for him, maybe not.
You know what's going to be proven here? What's going to be proven, because there's always been this discussion here. There's too much pressure. It's too heavy, come playoff time in particular. I don't think this applies at all during the regular season, certainly not in the summer. It's unbelievable to be a Maple Leaf up in Muskoka in the summer. It couldn't be a better place on earth to be a celebrity or anything of the likes. But, there is a belief, and maybe it's true, that it's so tense, it's so pressure-packed, it's so difficult to succeed in the playoffs here because of the history, because of how tightly, strung the fan base is, how everyone's so on edge about past failures and them, repeating themselves again. Where if he goes to Vegas and he just is unbelievable in the biggest games, then he could actually be an example of this being the case, that it's a Toronto issue. But if he goes to Vegas and he fades in the biggest games, because the biggest games are waiting for him in Vegas. They're a very good team that are going to the playoffs every year. If he gets to Game 7 next year and he's a shell, not Toronto, not the bright lights, it's not the pressure, it's him. And that is what I think people, it's difficult to determine. Was it the pressure? Was it, that he's from here? All that kind of stuff? Or was it that he's just not wired for it? Because I'm not convinced he's wired for it. Like, I don't know if he is. I don't know if he can step up in the biggest games when it gets tough.
Don't just think, fans or people listening, that just because he's in Vegas with palm trees and the desert and all the Vegas lights, that there won't be pressure on him to perform in big games. Like,
huge pressure. Highest paid player on the team.
But it's more of the business pressure. That's what I think. It's Bill Foley.
Well, it's the do it or don't pressure.
Right.
It's not like he's going to leave the rink and it's going to be like, oh, you stink at the gas station.
Right.
It'll be the do it or don't pressure of the on ice element.
Right. Which is a big difference, to be fair.
It is a big difference, but it's still, that's why I was saying last hour, the business pressure will still be there. Because the NHL is the NHL. Wherever you play, the NHL is still the NHL. They are expected to win. And George McPhee is a very, very intense guy. So is Kelly McCrimmon. You see Bill Foley sitting in the box. And those guys, they want to win. They've won before. The expectation is, hey, we're bringing in a superstar, and we're paying you $12 million a year. You've got to perform.
Yeah.
The difference will be is everything else that comes with it. Getting to the rink, all of that type of stuff. It'll just be a lifestyle change. So we'll see how it unfolds for him.
Yeah.
But it's going to be shocking.
It's not the same history there at all. I mean, it's Vegas. No. They've been in the league for 8 years, 9 years. It's a totally different experience. And, that really, it's amazing the way he's going out here because, again, it's a sign and trade. He was a free agent. He didn't demand out.